It's Thursday night, and that means, once again, it is time to go racing here for the iRacing Stock Car Association. Just 2 races remaining. You're getting set to go running for the 5 guys at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. My name is Nolan Rempo, bringing you coverage of tonight's race. Al Kozlowski was supposed to join me in the booth. He's having a bit of issues on his end, so we are hoping that he'll be able to join us here in just a few moments' time. As we roll over into qualify, let's take a quick look over at the top 10 standings. Only 2 races remaining, and still Boyd Hogan leads the championship standings just ahead of Tyler Pluff, Jaden Profit, rounding out the top 3. Chris Johnson in 4th, James Mullins 5th. You got Mike Eames down to the 6th position, Wayne Rossi in 7th, Ron Hollifield 8th, Cecil Keith 9th, and Cliff DeCocker rounding out the top 10. It's looking like more and more like this championship will go into the hands of Boyd Hogan with the 2 provincial races he's gotten for himself today. He's got himself 396 championship points. 339 is what Tyler Pluff has, so that's over a 60-point deficit that Pluff has got to make up on Boyd Hogan. So we are obviously he's hoping for the best here, that he can maybe run down Boyd Hogan, maybe see if he can encounter a little bit of bad luck going into today's race. Boyd Hogan is running in tonight's race. Tyler Pluff, though, appears to be a no-show, so this could be actually a big championship decider here for Boyd Hogan. If he can come out with a good win here today, he may just be able to actually secure his championship position and, well, maybe clinch the title here on points alone. James Mullins has already completed his qualifying run with 17.085. He is right now on provisional pole. Jeffrey Smith just clocked in a 17.772, so that's definitely not the time he was hoping to have. Boyd Hogan currently now up on the 2nd position with 17.295. Continue to run down the order through the qualifying run here. John Mullins puts up 3rd, 7/10 off of the leader's pace. Only a few guys on the track here, actually, as Chris Johnson now going to go 3rd with a 489. And so far, there's only been 5 guys on the track, and looks like Mike Knight in the 68 machine, he is right now on the course, and just on his first of 2 qualifying laps in that Ford Mustang. Mike Knight in the number 68 machine. He is running in 14th position right now in the points coming into today's race. He's going to clock in a 5.73. This is going to be enough to crack the top 5. Not enough, though, to go for pole position just yet. He does have that second lap, though, down the back straightaway. We'll see what he can make here in turns 3 and 4. Running that second groove, and now coming off with low on the front straightaway. Down across the line, it's 397. That'll be enough to bump him into 4th place. Still enough, though, to crack the top 3. Mark Love, Eric Kling, 2 other drivers that are right now on the course. Like I said, we're already a good halfway through qualifying, and so far it looks like we've only got about 8 drivers here that are looking to set times. Cliff DeCockle just entered the track as well. Mark Love coming to the close of his lap as Eric Kling goes 3rd place on the boards. Mark Love going to go 7th. Kling is now on the back straightaway down into turn number 3. Of course, Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, a very, very new addition here to the ISCA calendar, and Kling slaps the wall of a turn number 4. That is going to invalidate his second lap. He will not improve. Cockrell goes 9th fastest, 2/10 behind Jeffrey Smith. But as I was saying, Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, a brand new track to the iRacing service, and the first time we've ever seen this here in the ISCA, and we are hoping for the best here today after some early calamity at Homestead Miami Speedway. Hopefully we do not encounter the same here tonight. Cliff DeCock going to bring his machine to a stop. So far, we have 9 cars that have times on the board. 19 cars registered. Check that 18 cars registered for the race. Ron Hollifield, the only other machine out on track right now. Minute 20 left in qualifying. Let's take another look, shall we, over at the standings. Once again, to remind you guys going into this one, Boyd Hogan, I believe, does have the ability to clinch the title. We'll have to see if I can maybe get some confirmation on that one. He's right now 396 points up from Tyler. Pluff has got 339. Pluff is a no-show today. Jada Profit is just about 12 points back from Pluff at 327 points. Chris Johnson with 311. So if Hogan can clinch another win here, I believe that would mean he might just wrap up the championship in its entirety. So we'll have to wait and see if we can get a little bit of confirmation on that one. And just 35 seconds left in qualifying, and still no further drivers taking to the top of the boards. Only 10 drivers of the 18 scheduled to race have set time so far, and there is quite the gap between them. 2/10 separate Mullins from Boyd Hogan, and 8/10 all the way back from Mullins to Hollifield. The last driver now to set a time on the boards. Let's see if we can maybe go into the race facts a little bit more. We got 4 tire changes on the night, so that's, of course, got 3 sets of tires. 4 sets of tires, 3 tire changes, if you count the ones that the drivers are started on for the race. So that means about 55 laps for every tire change. Drivers are starting the grid on up, though, so let's take a quick step away, and we'll stand for the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
And now, for the most famous words in motorsports. Drivers, start!
Welcome back to Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway on our final pacing lap, and a couple cars are just now leaving the pit lane, so some apparent confusion there with cars leaving the pit road, and they're getting doubled up on the backstretch, ready to go here for 210 laps for the 5 guys 210. So this is going to be quite interesting to see what is going to happen here. You got cars being waved around the pace car here as the pace car pulls off. I wonder what race control is going to do about this one here. This might be a very unique start. James Mullins, it's in his hands to lead them to the green flag. We'll have to see if race control will put the yellow flag out. As of right now, though, we are green at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway for the second to last race of the season, and that's a fair start. Mullins is off and away. Hogan slots in. So far, all the way back to third, a single file down. Mike Knight, the first driver, side by side with John Mullins. About 5 drivers just got completely screwed over on that race start there because they were getting waved around the pace car when they were going green. So the battle for fourth is on between Mullins and Mike Knight as they dive off into turn number 4. Apologies, we did not get to the starting grid. The pace laps are just so incredibly quick here. We did not have the time to run through the order, so apologies on that one on our end there. Single filed out, though, throughout the entirety of the field. And 3 laps down, 207 to go. It's a long ways ahead of us. John Mullins trying to look underneath Mike Knight to pick up the 4th position. Down on the lap number 4, looks like Mullins might be able to get this move done. It's a turn at number 1. Mike Knight going to hang on around the outside. He's trying to get the run around the outside. He's really pulling that outside line off the corners here. Mike Knight trying to clear around the outside, but Mullins has got the speed of the inside on entry. But there you go. Mike Knight fends him off for the 4th position around the outside of the racetrack. So a very interesting race start. Definitely one of the most unique starts we've seen of the season. We thought Homestead's race start was a little bit interesting, and well, shall we say, a bit of calamity took place. And caution flag is out, and there is no crash on the speedway. So it looks like this was a yellow flag thrown by race control to get the field sorted here. Well, I guess while we're at it, let's take a look, I guess, at the what the starting order was before the green flag dropped. To round it off, it was Waldestein had started first, Hogan second, Kling was third, John Mullins fourth, Mike Knight was fifth, Johnson was sixth, Mark Love was seventh, Jeffrey Smith was eighth, Clifton Cockrell and Ron Hollifield rounded out the top 10. Christopher Hill was 11th, Tanner Love was 12th, Brian Johnson was 13th, Wayne Grossi was 14th, Mike Eames was 15th, Kenny Powell was 16th, Cecil Keith and Craig Johnson rounded out the 18-car field. But now, Cecil Keith and Clifton Cockrell are both trapped a lap down here as a result of the restart kerfuffle. Cockrell has been waved around the pace car here to take his lap back, all the way back to about the 8th position. He's still in the exact same order it was when the race started. 9th on back is all sorts of jumble. 10th place, Ron Hollifield is in the right place, but Love was up 3 spots where he started. So is Wayne Grossi. Kenny Powell's up 4th where he started. Craig Johnson's up 5. Chris Hill is down 4. Brian Johnson down 2. Mike Eames down 1. Clifton Cockrell down a whopping 7 positions. And Cecil Keith also lost 1. And all drivers are back on the lead lap. So after the restart kerfuffle, when the pace car left a bit earlier than was intended, it appears that we are now going to get stacked up, doubled up, and get ready for what is going to be the proper start of the race. That's definitely an unusual one, though. Not one I have ever seen before in my entire time I've been commentating races for the past 2 years. So I'll tell you what, that's definitely a new one. And, well, we just got to hope that there's not going to be some early calamity. Welcome, by the way, if you're joining us late. If you're wondering what the heck all the kerfuffle is, this is not a caution for a crash. This is a competition caution that was set up because there was a mistake on this race start. Where they were still singing the national anthem on the racetrack, and the pace car left to start a pacing. So that meant about 6 cars got screwed over on the restart. 2 of them got trapped a lap down, so they had to redo the restart. All drivers are back on the lead lap now. I believe we're now 2 to green. This has got to be one of the most unconventional race starts we've probably seen in ISCA history. So, I did get that right. ISCA history. So this is certainly an unusual one. Well, we got to see what this is going to mean for the drivers as we hopefully come around to the green flag here to take the next one. Are we getting 1 to green this time by? We are. Lights are out on the Ford Mustang pace car. Larry, the pace car driver, leading some early laps. He is going to be prepared to lead them off for what is going to be the second race start on the night. The incident date is October 29th at 1:37 p.m. in the afternoon. Track temperatures are currently sitting at a steady 81 degrees Fahrenheit, 70 degrees in the air. The winds are looking to be pretty calm, 5 miles an hour blowing to the north. So the pace car pulls off. Once again, it's in the hands of James Mullins. So leader to the green, Boyd Hogan started to his outside. Mullins on the throttle early. We are green flag racing once again at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. And 200 laps to go now here at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway for the second to last race and the 5 guys, 210. Oh, Ron Hollifield, all sorts of out of shape in the background, losing 3-4 spots down the back straightaway. Got real loose. He was side by side, I believe, with Tanner Love, and he nearly had a massive moment in the background, managed to save it. Good save there from the number 9 machine that started 10th. He's down to 11th place now. First side-by-side battle right now is with Tanner Love. He's side-by-side right now with Jeffrey Smith. Down in the turn number 3, trying to duke it out for spots with just inside the top 10. Smith doing a good job at pulling that outside line, trying to get around him. This is the battle for 8th and 9th right now, and Love is going to lose out the spot. Jeffrey Smith, he's forced to tuck back in line behind. Wayne Grossi trying to have a go now, and that's not going to quite work out for him as well as he might have thought. Single file just about the entire way throughout the field so far, and there's a lot of actual battles going on right now either, at least those side-by-side battles, that is. James Mullins' lead has been reeled in, though, by Boyd Hogan, who might be looking a bit antsy trying to get that lead back as they throttle their way down to the turn number 1. He's gotten close a couple times last time around. Mullins managed to pull away with a bit of a breakaway on the exit of turn 1. Eric Kling looking for third on the inside of Mike Knight. Almost hooks him off of turn 4. But Mike Knight manages to get well clear before he can get there, but pushes up the track again. Kling trying to go to the inside. Oh boy! Nearly touches him again for the second time in just 2 corners. Down to turn 3 they go. Eric Kling doing a fantastic job, though, of making sure he does not run Mike Knight over, driving this battle very, very respectfully. Tanner Love, Jeffrey Smith, duking it out once again for 8th and 9th. Love trying to find the inside. Smith trying to fend him off on the high side. He did so just a few laps ago. We'll have to see if he can do it again on turn number 4. And down to turn 1 they go. And Love backs up early. That checks up Wayne Grassi in the 7 car, who's forced to go back. Now Love pounces again, but cannot get to the inside of Jeffrey Smith in the 96. This has been a very, very clean start to the race, if not an unusual one. Tanner Love once again trying to find the inside, stepping that back end out though off of turn 4. That's going to lose him quite a bit of speed. Up the road, Mark Love is just moving the pass on Eric Kling. That was for the battle for 4th place. We'll have to see if Eric Kling can maybe get him back. They're now just across the start-finish line on lap number 21. Boyd Hogan has closed in. James Mullins again. This is the battle for the race lead here between the 6 and the 81 machine. Boyd Hogan, remember, is the race lead, and I do believe... Oh, look at this. Heads up. We'll get back to the minute. Boyd Hogan going for the lead there on James Mullins. Big dive into turn number 1, but Mullins fighting the top side in turn 2. Boyd Hogan's trying to go for a real dive bomb here in 3. Can he get it done, though? Don't think he will. Mullins is going to try to force the issue around the outside line. He's going to do it as Hogan gets all sorts of loose, and he actually might lose out to the second place here to Mike Knight if Knight can have something to say about it. Knight backs off, though, and Boyd Hogan, your current points leader, and as it stands, points champion, is right now going to be all set to go on the inside line. Should note that the way the points stand right now, Boyd Hogan would be the champion if he takes the victory in today's race. Further behind, it's a hornet's nest of machines. Tanner Love just fended off Jeffrey Smith again. Behind them, Ron Hollifield just completed the pass on Brian Johnson. It's all sorts of chaos back here as Wayne Grossi's having to go with Jeffrey Smith now. Everybody's checking each other up. It really is a 5-car breakaway in front, and then everybody else behind as we look at the hornet's nest from 6th on back. Up front at the top of the train, Chris Johnson trying to have a go at John Mullins. And that is why this train's getting so backed up. John Mullins goes wide in the 3 and 4, allowing the 48 car through on the inside groove. Mullins trying to force the issue, though, around the outside. He's going to try to get it done. No, can't quite get there, though. John Mullins is going to be forced to drop way down the field now as Tanner Love goes through. Christopher Hill goes through. Now Hill trying to have a run at Chris Johnson into turn 4. You can really pull the outside line good on fresh tires. It doesn't look like it's coming in too much, though, for some of these guys here further in the back as now Chris Johnson is at threat, and he is going to lose out to Tanner Love in the battle for 7th. Powell is in the mix of this as well with Wayne Grossi. They're side by side, just behind the order. You probably see into the back of the shot. Jeffrey Smith as well. Oh, Smith sideways. Smith is losing the car. Hang on to it. Jeffrey Smith at the 96 goes to the apron in turn 1. After a big sideways moment on the front straightaway, got a good tank slapper going off of turn 4. He's going to manage to get that car all sorted, though. And once again, he is going to be fine. Loses out on 3 positions. But hey, it's better than having a wrecked race car. Rounding lap number 30 now of 210 here at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Only 1 race remaining in the season after an off week for Thanksgiving. Next week, we're going over to Richmond for the season finale. A 200-lap race, I believe, in Richmond, Virginia, at Richmond International Raceway. Should be a thrilling way to end off the season. How about we take a look at one of the in-car cameras here? Let's go along with your current points leader. Boyd Hogan is he's all sorts of out of shape and having to fend off Mark Love just behind. He's lost some touch up front to James Mullins. Let's take a ride on board with Boyd Hogan for a few laps. P9 just lost out of spot. John Mullins and Brian Johnson are right now in the thick of a fight. Down to the turn 3. This is still at the back of that second train. A couple cars have lost touch out in front. That would be 8th and 7th that have lost touch, and they're in their own little grouping there. But it's a massive hornet's nest back here. John Mullins just lost out a spot to Brian Johnson. And now Jeffrey Smith is trying to find the inside as well. This is the battle for for the final spot within the top 10. John Mullins is going to get dropped out here. Behind, you have Mike Eames and Wayne Grossi. They're side by side just behind this field, so we can keep an eye on both battles here as we watch them dive their way to turn number 1. We're around in lap 37 of 210, 174 laps remaining. 173 to go at the line. Wayne Grossi losing touch on the inside. Mike Eames trying to maybe find the outside line, trying to see if he can get some speed on John Mullins. That doesn't quite work for him, though. So that did not quite go the way it would appear that he was playing. He's going to have to force himself back in line with John Mullins and maybe try to go again. And now Mullins really covering the outside line, making sure Mike Eames cannot get a good run. Off the corner. Oh, Powell's loose! Powell's into the inside wall. Car hard on the wall in front straightaway. The 24 machine of Kenny Powell has lost it. Big damage to the front right of the 24 machine. No caution. We do keep it green, but that is lost. That's going to do some big damage performance-wise to Powell's machine. Boyd Hogan is in the midst of the battle with Mike 9. In fact, Boyd Hogan just took back the 3rd position. Apparently, he lost the final podium position some time ago as we were watching all that going on behind him. So Hogan up to 9th as the race leader is a cut lap traffic. Quick to Cockle being put 1 lap down by race leader James Mullins. It's certainly been one interesting race so far. Apart from that first initial competition caution, we have not had any real problems so far. We are typically, what we were going to say about 4 influence away. Oh, heads up, Wayne Grossi has had an issue himself. He was actually hard at the outside wall in turn 2, got loose and snapped into it, almost collected Hollifield and Cecil Keith as well. They all managed to survive that one, but now Grossi's got right side damage and a little bit of left side damage as well, so he may have been tagged by Hollifield on the way through. I think we are about, I would estimate about 16 to 20 laps from the first pit stop window when you will want to commit for tires if you're going for a tire strategy. You know, only you want to use all 4 sets of tires and even stints. You can run about 55 laps on the tires before you'd have to come on down and make it an even stop all the way through to the end. Brian Johnson just passed Craig Johnson, and as we have established, no relationship, just pure coincidence to happen to have the last name. Chris Johnson trying to have a go at Brian Johnson, maybe trying to get that spot back. That's the battle for King on the race course right now. I'll take a quick minute to kind of run through the order here. You got James Mullins right now in the race lead. Mark Love and Boyd Hogan round out the podium spots. Mike Knight and Christopher Hill in 4th and 5th. Eric Kling and Tanner Love 6th and 7th. In a big train, all of their own is Brian Johnson, Chris Johnson, Jeffrey Smith, Mike Eames, and John Mullins are duking it out for 11th and 12th. As you see, Ron Hollifield ended off the train. Then it's Cecil Keith, Wayne Grossi, Kenny Powell, Craig Johnson and Clifton Cockrell all run in line astern with each other. Certainly has been an interesting race, and this could be the championship decider because, and this is just a rough estimate because I'm not the best with points here, but as I've kind of run the numbers, from the looks of it, you can get a maximum of 48 points, and right now there's 57 separating Boyd Hogan from James Mullins. So I'm going to continue to run the numbers here. Just bear with me for 1 second. So with Tyler Pluff being a no-show, Jaden Profit, who actually is also not here, that would leave Chris Johnson, the sole go-getter for your man of the lead, Boyd Hogan. 85 points separate Chris Johnson from Boyd Hogan. So this would mean that in order for Boyd Hogan to not win the championship, you would pretty much have to finish stone dead last and gain no points, which is not going to happen. So Boyd Hogan effectively is going to be your champion after tonight. It's not official yet, but that's how it's looking to be. Because if he has more than 48 points going into Richmond, it's all over. A lot of the cars are kind of split up into their own little groupings, kind of all over the racetrack. You got about third and fourth that are in their little scrap. Kenny Powell's just a mix of them. He was put a lap down just a little while ago. Then you have a much closer battle between 9th, 10th, and 11th, with 8th place just in front of them. That's Jeffrey Smith, Mike Eames, and Chris Johnson. They're right now the closest battle on the racetrack for spots just inside and just outside the top 10, and even then, Mike Eames is starting to lose a little bit of touch to the cars in front. Jeffrey Smith and Chris Johnson are kind of running on their lonesome in their little two-car grouping, but so far, Smith has not been terribly eager to go for the pass. He's elected to just been kind of sticking in front. He's gotten awfully close to the back bumper. I wonder if he's going to try to go for the bump and run here sooner or later. Chris Johnson gets loose, and he is going to get punted. And in turn number 3, Chris Johnson gets sideways. Smith going to try to force the issue around the outside. And he's going to get this one done, maybe off of 2, if he can carry the momentum around that second group on the racetrack, pinching Chris Johnson down to the first line, and he's going to do it. Jeffrey Smith with a bump and run in the turn 3 last time by, almost gets the favor repaid to him for Chris Johnson. That's allowed Ron Hollifield and Mike Eames to both close up. Chris Johnson's going to lose out here now to Mike Eames, as Eames is going to try to go around the outside and follow the footsteps of Jeffrey Smith, and he might do it here. Ron Hollifield, now the only question is going to be, where's the number 90 car going to go? Eames pushes way up the track in 3 and 4. And that allows Chris Johnson to hold on for one more lap. But at this point, it's only a matter of time before Eames fully clears him. We're now over a quarter of the way in. And it's going to be very interesting to figure out what the fuel window is going to be for this one, too, because that'll really dictate the strategy the entire race if this goes green, which might be the case, as we saw with Phoenix. Hollifield and Johnson still going out of this for 11th and 12th. Now, contact is made, and Hollifield almost gets put to the outside wall. He's forced to lift off and give Chris Johnson the space on the bottom side, but Hollifield's not giving up so easily. He's going to try to force this issue here on the high side. This is what John Mullins just behind wants to see. He almost wants to see the guys take each other out, because that's 3 spots for him. But Hollifield is not going to go for it. He is going to stay in line. He's actually going to try to go for a crossover, go down the inside in a 3 and 4. See, now this works out. Gold gets a bit loose, though, on the entry to 3. And can't get that off of 4, and Mullins clears. James Mullins has a 2-second lead now over Mark Love. The field really is now split up across the entire racetrack. 15th on back are all laps down. And Cecil Keith and John Mullins are the 2 cars at the tail end of the lead lap now, and they are just about a few seconds away from being lapped as well. Clifton Cockrell is now being lapped by Ron Hollifield. Cockrell's been kind of dropping down through the order the entire time, so he might go 2 laps down here, which would be devastating for Cockrell's run, who's already at the tail end of the field after starting an impressive 9th position. He's dropped 9 spots, about as low as he could possibly be right now. The battles are still close, but nobody's really elected to make any kind of bonsai moves just yet. And I think that's really to be expected with short track race. Don't expect people to make, very aggressive moves until you get to the very end. One battle that's getting increasingly closer, though, is for 8th place. Brian Johnson has lost quite a bit of time to Jeffrey Smith, who's now caught up to the number 4 machine. Mike Eames has been hot on Jeffrey Smith's tail the entire time. Smith might try to go for another bump. You remember how he moved Mike Eames just a little while ago, I believe it was. Well, Smith might try to move Brian Johnson as well if he can get to his back bumper and he holds him up for too long. Smith looked for the inside, was not close enough to make the dive bomb, though, into turn 3. So we'll see what he can make here down into 1. Not close enough still. And Brian Johnson gives him the position. Brian Johnson just lifts off and gives up the 2 spots. Recognized he was slow, decided not to get wrecked in the process, and is going to sacrifice the top 10, or the final position within inside the top 10, so he's down to 10th place now. That moves Eames up to 9th, Smith up to 8th. I'm very curious here to see if Mike Eames is going to try something here on Jeffrey Smith to maybe repay the favor. We'll just have to wait and see, I guess. Rounded lap 67 now for the race leaders. And Clifton Cockrell is on pit road in the 16 machine. No incident for Cockrell, and in fact, no, doesn't seem to be a schedule. I wonder if this might be a scheduled stop. We're now 67 laps in. And Cockrell pulls it into the pit stall. Is he calling it a night? We'll have to see. Of course, he is now 2 laps down. He's going to drop 3, but maybe 4 laps down in the process. Not taking tires, not taking fuel. Looks like he has decided to throw in the towel. James Mullins has lapped all the way up to 12th place now. We just passed John Mullins. So that puts a good 6 cars laps down. And now Mullins closing in on the battle for 11th between Chris Johnson and Ron Hollifield as he starts lap 70. Exactly 1/3 of the way through the race this time by 70 laps down, 140 to go. And the 5 guys, 2:10. Hollifield trying to have a look around Chris Johnson. This might get an answer for James Mullins, because he doesn't want to see this battle going on in front of him, especially with Ron Hollifield definitely getting awfully close to spinning out Chris Johnson in that 48 car. Remember, Chris Johnson lost out quite a few spots a little while ago, and we'll have to see if that's going to be the same case here. James Mullins is not going to let Hollifield really go for that position, though. He's going to try to get around the inside. Doesn't actually work for him. Wayne Grossi has, I believe, just made the call that he's coming down to the lane, so we'll have to see if he fulfills that statement. And in fact, he is the 7 car down to pit road, so it looks like about 70 laps is as far as you can go on fuel. Grossi, of course, has damage on his machine, and we'll have to see what he'll do. None of the other cars have elected to come down yet, so this could be another situation of him just throwing in the towel like we saw Clifton Cockrell do. And in fact, it is. Wayne Grossi has towed the car, and it looks like he is... Oh, never mind. Disregard. He just got the car repaired, and he is taking tires. So this is a scheduled stop for Wayne Grossi. So about 74 laps for him. Right sides only. Interesting call there for Wayne Grossi, who takes right side tires only. Not sure how much good that's going to do him, considering he's only 2 laps down. He might be 3, actually, now that I think about it. James Mullins, meanwhile, has gotten past the battle for 11th. He's closing in on 10th place runner Brian Johnson. And up front, you have Tanner Love that's trying to get around Craig Johnson. They're not on the same lap. They are this is interclass lapping here at this point. Johnson goes through as Craig moves up the top side to let Mullins through. So now, James Mullins has lapped all the way up to the top 10, and he's going to put effectively half the field a lap down here. Well, if James Mullins was wanting to go for a dominant run, he's getting it here. Let's take a ride on board for a few laps with James Mullins as we watch him get clear and see just how fast he is around this racetrack. Battle for ninth is on. Brian Johnson is about to lose out to Ron Hollifield down into turn number 3. The number 4 machine losing ground, and he has been forced to sacrifice the 9th position on the racetrack from Hollifield. As Hollifield gets loose, he's still sliding, hanging on to it. One car to the inside wall. Hang on. Tanner Love is at the inside wall and runs straight away. He got loose off of turn 4. Just slid sideways in. He smacked the inside wall just like Wayne Grassi did early on. So far, no further drivers have come on down to pit road. I would not be surprised if we saw Love coming down now as a result of that incident. In fact, he is Tanner Love taking it to pit road, electing he does not want... in fact, excuse me, does not want it to stay out too long on a damaged race car. Second place looks to be a bit close as well as they're darting their way through lap traffic. Christopher Hill on the inside of Hollifield right now. Meanwhile, Mark Love in the 30 machine. He's still, he's in a bit of cleaner air and not side by side. He's trying to see if he can maybe capitalize on this and catch up to Hill. Hollifield is not giving Hill certainly any graces here. Mark Love is all over the back of them now. So we'll have to see if he's going to try to make a pass here and maybe capitalize on this. But it looks like Hill might just be clear here. And in fact, he is. So now all of a sudden it's Mark Love getting held up. And that battle gone in a heartbeat. Tanner Love has retired from the race. He is elected to park the car after that incident on the front straightaway about 4 laps ago. We are around lap number 87. If you're just joining us, then welcome to iRacing Stock Car Association action. We are on our penultimate race here for the 5 Guys 210 of the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. The season finale coming up with the 200-lap race at Richmond in just 2 weeks' time. Got a 1-week break for good old Thanksgiving. And the question will come to the drivers as I speak to myself. What are you all thankful for? I'm personally thankful that we got one good race going on for us here. Take a rundown again through the top 10. James Mullins currently leads. Christopher Hill 4 seconds behind in second. Mark Love third. Mike Knight runs fourth. Boyd Hogan fifth. Eric Clegg sixth. Mike Eames seventh. Jeffrey Smith the last car on the lead lap, but not for long as he's in 8th position. Ron Hollifield, Brian Johnson both laps down in 9th and 10th. At this point in time, we have 4 cars laps down than we do on the lead lap. James Mullins has been putting on the clinic all race today. We'll take this time as well to run through the championship consequences. Boyd Hogan is the effective champion of the season here. As he was ahead by 57 points coming into today's race. It looks like you could gain a max of 48 in one of these races. And that was 57 points up on Tyler Pluff. It's over 90. Sorry, it's about almost 90 points that he's up on the nearest driver. Tyler Pluff and Jaden Profit, the 2 drivers that were closest to him, are both no-shows today. Chris Johnson down in 4th place in points. Well, let's just say he's not exactly having the best of days himself, as he's 1 lap down. And yeah, he's just not having the best of days, and we'll leave it at that. So it's not been very good for Chris Johnson in that 48 machine. One lap down, running in 11th with damage on the car. He was actually just passed by Boyd Hogan that insult to injury. So, yeah, unless Hogan does something to get himself disqualified to score no points, I'm pretty sure that he would be your season champion. It's almost a certainty at this point. Because if he's ahead by more than 57 points coming into final race at Richmond, he's got it secured. And right now, he's got more than that coming into the second to last race, and he's running 4th. Approaching halfway in about 10 to 15 laps time. 210 laps on the schedule today, 95 on the board so far. 116 remaining. Apart from the caution early in the race, there has been no yellows. It has been pretty clean. We've had a couple of small spins off of turn 4 on the front straightaway, but apart from that, nothing of note. John Mullins is coming down the pit road right now. He's slow on the apron in 4, and he is coming in the 64 machine. So could the pit window be potentially opened here? Drivers do have 4 sets of tires they can use today. Hard crash, front straightaway. Caution is out. Mike Eames just wrecked hard and took out Jeffrey Smith with them. And that was all on his own. Mike Eames just lost the back end off a forward over some of the bumps right in front of your race leader. Bounced back up from the inside wall and collected Jeffrey Smith big time. So huge damage on Jeffrey Smith's car, and this will see most likely everybody coming to pit road. Disastrous mistake there from Mike Eames. My goodness, that was definitely the biggest incident we've had all race so far, and that will bring out our first. Well, I guess you could say our first actual yellow flag of the night. His first one was just to fix up a start kerfuffle. So James Mullins approaches pit road, and pit road does open, and he is going to lead the field down. I would be surprised if we did not see everybody coming down to pit road this time by under the yellow flag. Let's take a quick break here under caution number 2 tonight, and we'll come back right around when we go back green. Welcome back to Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway for the Five Guys 210. We are under caution flag number 2 for a wreck on the front straightaway that involved Mike Eames, and I can't forget. I forget who the second driver was. I think it was Jeffrey Smith that he collected in the 96 car. Yes, it was. It was Jeffrey Smith. So this is our second caution of the race. The first one was for a massive start issue at the start of the race, which came out on 10 laps. About a 90-lap green flag run there. That saw the first pit stops of the day for a lot of drivers. Poor John Mullins in the 64 car got absolutely screwed, though, as that caution came out just after he came down pit road. So he is going to be trapped laps down now as a result. He is going to get waved around the pace car here. It looks like Ron Hollifield might have received that Lucky Dog free pass. You have one car still on pit road. Coming back down, it's Mike Eames who's coming back down, likely to fix damage. Lights are out of the pace car. They're getting stacked up, doubled up. We're ready to go racing once again here in Nashville Fairgrounds. coming to halfway in just a little while. 3 laps time, as a matter of fact. 102 laps down, 108 to go. Pace car pulls off. James Mullins got a good jump last time. Can he do the same? And he does. Fantastic restart for him. Green flag in the air. We are racing once again here at Nashville. 3 laps to halfway. The field thunders down into turn number 1. Double filed out. All sorts of calamity in the midfield pack. Lots of position jumping going on. Brian Johnson's trying to work up spots. Chris Johnson nearly lost the back end, coming off of 2. He's trying to find his way around Jeffrey Smith. So lots of battles in the midfield. The top 3 have broken away. Well, almost 3 wide as the 4 car gets shuffled up to the middle group. Jeffrey Smith trying to go around Mike Knight, though. With 106 to go. Still got almost half a race to go, boys. So let's make sure you settle down and we don't turn this into a caution fest. Halfway this time by. Kyle's going to lose out to Chris Johnson around the outside unless Powell can really do something to hang on. These guys are still on cold tires for a lot of the field. And halfway, 105 down, 105 to go. Chris Johnson cuts back, tries to get underneath the inside of Kenny Powell. That doesn't work. Up front, Mike Knight is losing out big time to Brian Johnson. He's just lost out big time. He's backed up into Kenny Powell now. Single file out for most of the field. Very hectic restart. Powell's trying to fight around the inside of Mike Knight. This is the battle. Oh, these guys aren't even on the same lap. Powell's a lap down. Mike Knight's got to pick up the pace if he wants to stay up with the lead lap guys. Powell's trying to get around because he's in a big battle with Chris Johnson now, trying to keep the 48 car behind him. And it looks like Powell will be able to do that as Mike Knight pulls away finally. At the moment, we only have 7 cars on the lead lap. The other 11 are laps down. And 2 of them have elected not to finish the race. Once again, Mullins' lead is closed. Christopher Hill in the 11 machine has run him down. They're in turn 4 right now and coming out of the front straightaway. Last time around, though, the driver that was in second place, which was Boyd Hogan, when he caught him, did not have what it took to get around James Mullins. Now that they're on fresher tires, though, we'll have to see if this remains to be the case. James Mullins so far has led every lap so far in the race, or just about every single lap at least. So this is the battle for the race lead here, and this might be a very close one at that. Boyd Hogan is closed into the mix. And remember, the way it sits right now, Boyd Hogan is your season champion in the iRacing Stock Car Association and the 4th season of 2020. So it will be quite the way to end off Hogan's 2020 campaign. 3-car scrap for the lead as they're still doing the best here to try to keep it nice and clean, and so far they are being very, very respectful about it. Single file out for the rest of the field all the way back. You got a couple cars forming. You got the first pack here, which is really 1st through 3rd, and you might be able to count the 2-car group in the 4th and 5th just behind them. Actually, speaking of that 4th and 5th place group, Eric Kling's about to lose out a spot here as Mark Love really cutting into him, puts him into the outside wall on the front straightaway, as a matter of fact. And Mark Love forced to get back in line, gives him a punch in turn 2, so Mark Love not a happy camper right now. Eric Kling trying to fight back around the outside of the turn 3, gonna almost dump him in turn 3, as a matter of fact, as Mark Love just barely manages to hang on, and he's gonna take 4th place. In a bit of a messy fashion at that. I'm not sure if Kling will be too happy about that. He might try to repay the favor here in a little bit. Moving on back, you got Smith, Johnson, and Knight running 6th, 7th, and 8th thereabouts, I believe. And then just about everybody else. But my goodness, that was a really close scrap there for a little while. Eric Kling might lose out here as well to Jeffrey Smith. Smith is now trying to find his way around the inside. Smith is loose. He's almost getting into Kling. Rushes up against the left rear quarter panel and just barely manages to keep it out of him. Both drivers diving it up to turn number 1. It's Chevy versus Ford. And so far, Eric Kling in the 52-4 Mustang able to pull the outside line, and that leaves Jeffrey Smith open to attack from Mike Knight in the 68. Knight goes through. And Brian Johnson makes a late dive on Jeffrey Smith as well. This is now for 7th. Check that. This is for 8th. No, this is for 7th. I don't know what I'm looking at. James Mullins is still holding on to the race lead from Christopher Hill, but Hill is still nice and close. Boyd Hogan is still in the mix as well. They just lapped Wayne Grossi. Craig Johnson just pulled it off and retired the car. So make that 3 DNFs on the trot. We are under 90 laps to go now. And what has been one thrilling race so far. I mean, we really have not had a whole lot to complain about here. Battle for, I'll tell you what, this is not a lot of actual battles going on in the moment, but I mean, it's still good to see these guys, coming out here, running a good race, putting on a nice, good show. For us, the fans here in Nashville are definitely getting their money's worth. Christopher Hill, a little bit sideways off a turn 4 that time by. Manages to hang on to it, though, and doesn't lose too much time. He's making sure to keep James Mullins honest. If Mullins makes the slightest mistake, Christopher Hill is going to pounce on him so quickly. Don't forget Boyd Hogan, though, because Hogan might be trying to get a win here to really clinch the championship. He wouldn't need a win, but I mean, hey, it's always a nice touch. No side-by-side battles at the moment. Christopher Hill started to lose touch to Mullins up in front. Looks like the number 6 car started to pull away. These guys made it 96 laps on their tires last time around. So most of these guys still have 3 sets left. So theoretically, they might be able to go for the end. I don't think they can make it on fuel. They might have to make one more stop for fuel. We'll have to wait and see, though. Kenny Powell and Chris Johnson have been relatively close since the restart. They're running right now 10th and 11th. Powell's running tail to Chris Johnson, and he's also keeping a nice anonymous, keeping him close as they dive into 3. And Powell tries to find the inside, can't quite get there on Chris Johnson. Still looking, though, certainly doesn't hurt to have a look every now and then. And Jeffrey Smith has had an incident on the front straightaway. In fact, he actually wrecked just ahead of the grouping here, hit the inside wall very hard on the front end, no contact. To start this, it was just another cell spin off of 4. We've seen that. That's about the 4th time we've seen that today, where drivers have spun and hit the inside wall in just about the same spot. That's not at all then what these drivers wanted to see. In the battle for 10th, though, Mike Eames is now having to go at Powell. Wayne Grossi got in the way of the battle for 9th. So Powell's having a big trouble now trying to fend off Mike Eames. I think Eames is going to get him here. Should note that Ron Hollifield, the driver you see just hanging right behind these guys in the number 90 machine, he's actually a lap ahead of them. But Powell does not have to let him through because he's in a heated battle right now with Mike Eames. And Hollifield's not really racing anybody here. Powell's not giving this one up without a fight. He's going to stay right on him. And Hollfield getting right to the back end of Powell this time by, and Wayne Grossi looks like he might be trying to let this battle through here. We might see a bit of 3-wide action. We will be seeing 3-wide. Oh, Eames backing off, though. That gives Powell the spot. They are still 3 wide, and Holyfield doesn't get through. Contact! My goodness me. Big moment there for going 3 wide. Almost had our 3rd caution of the night there, but they managed to just barely get through. And Eames is still all over the back of Kenny Powell. This is no doubt frustrating to Ron Holyfield. Has just got to sit back and watch this whole mess. He knows he realistically wouldn't be able to break through without getting some kind of penalty if he takes one of them out. That is our closest battle we have on course at the moment, by the way. That's why we haven't really looked anywhere else, because this is might not be the most influential battle on the course, but it's definitely the closest one. Eames trying to find the outside line, maybe try to get the crossover over-under on Kenny Powell, closing in big time on the exit. He actually might go for it here, down to the 3 if he could get to him. Not quite. Backs off, decides to be nice and patient. Oh, and he takes him out! Powell hard to the inside wall. Will this be a caution? It will. Driver scrambles. Cecil Keith manages to scramble to the inside line just in time to get around. We got to get a look on board at Cecil Keith as he was flying up on that mess. I hate to say it, Eames. That's all on you, buddy. Mike Eames just came up and dumped him off of turn number 4. He was done waiting, and he decided to take matters in his own hands. I guess Kenny Powell might have checked up a little bit on the exit. Didn't accelerate as much as Mike Eames thought he was going to. But he just didn't even try to avoid it, just drove straight through him. That is unexcusable, if you ask me, from Mike Eames in that number 3 car. Now the question is, we're 40 laps in. Will we be seeing another stint? Mike Knight is down to pit road under the caution flag. And so is Eric Kling. Brian Johnson gets the lucky dog, and he's going to go by and take his lap back. So once again, we have 8 cars on the lead lap. So far, though, it doesn't look like anybody else is elected to come down to the pits, for now at least. That is, so we get all the guys that were laps down that might come in. So this means here that the top 5 of Mullins, Hogan, Hill, Love, and Holyfield have all stayed out on 40-lap old tires, coming to 41. Now Ron Holyfield comes down to the lane, and he takes Chris Johnson with him. Mike Eames comes down, Wayne Grossi's in. Smith is there, Powell's there, unsurprised for the 24. John Mullins comes back down, Brian Johnson's back down. Eric Kling elects to, well, he already pitted last time by, so we'll have to see which of these drivers will lead them off pit road. And it's Smith to come off of the lane, and in fact, Jeffrey Smith did not even take tires. He just fixed the damage, and off he went. That's why he got so much time on them on the exit. Out of the drivers that appears to that did take tires, Chris Johnson leads them off, and the rest of the field comes off behind them. 2/3 of the race complete, 1/3 to go. That's 140 laps down, 70 laps to go. Let's take a quick step away once again, and we'll be back shortly. One lap left to green, well, half a lap left to green right now at the end of caution number 3. After an incident regarding Mike Eames dumping Kenny Powell off of turn 4. Pace car pulls off. James Mullins, it's in his hands. Boyd Hogan's back to second. Hogan's trying to get the jump on him. Mullins gets it off, but doesn't get away this time. Boyd Hogan is right on him as they cross the front straightaway down into turn number 1. So this might be a much closer restart than it was earlier. Should remember, these guys are on 44-lap old tires. Big check with the back, though, and a big miss. Eric Kling's hard to the inside wall. Chris Johnson's caught him involved. Cautions bring cautions, and that is the consequences of when you try to have guys that are on 44-lap-old tires mixed up with guys that are on fresh tires. There are only 3 guys that are not on fresh tires in the entire field, and one of those guys just completely cleaned out the field. Take a look back at to an immediate replay. What happened was Christopher Hill, who was one of the guys that was on old tires, got checked up and got run over by Eric Kling. Kling checked up, got hit by Mark Love. Chris Johnson got into the 52 car after he got loose trying to avoid the whole mess. Boyd Hogan comes down to change his tires immediately. James Mullins shockingly stays out. Mike Eames gets the lucky dog. What kind of restart was that? If James Mullins does not come down to get fresh tires on right now, then we might have to check his synapses to see if they're still He's not coming down. I cannot see the logic behind this call. I know James Mullins wants to win. I understand that he wants to win. You know, I've been in this position myself. But you have guys that have like 47, almost 50 lap pressure tires behind you. Why would you not come down to pit? This might just be one of the most shocking moves we've seen all race. Mullins isn't even in contention for the title here. I mean, it's not like he's trying to pull some bonsai strategy to get the win. He's in 5th. Almost 100 points behind Boyd Hogan. He doesn't have a chance at winning this championship. Even if he wins the next 2 races. Prepare for another yellow here, folks, because I'll tell you what, if we somehow make this restart green for more than a couple laps, I'm going to be astounded, and honestly, I'm going to be dang proud of these drivers here. Didn't even make a half a lap that time round. So caution number 4 on the speedway. That crash in of itself, honestly, could have been a lot worse than it was. So props on the field for managing to get around them cleanly. The 2 spinning drivers in the back. I believe we're coming to 1 to green this time by, so we're not going to take a break this time, considering we just did. We're going to stay right with this one. It'll be 62 laps to green, I believe, when we take this one back. And in fact, it is 2 to green this time by. Lights are out on top of the pace car. Larry, the pace car driver, starting to earn that paycheck. You go, Larry, in the beautiful Ford Mustang FR 500S official iRacing pace car. Can we make it longer? James Mullins, his tires are almost 50 laps older than some of the guys in the field, 40 laps older than the guys just behind him. He's the only driver out here on old tires. Everybody else's tires, up to only 10 laps old. 62 laps to go. Mullins gets a good launch off of the line. And Mike Knight caught sleeping on the restart. Looking almost 3 wide behind him. Ron Hollifield trying to go for a second. Can't quite get there. Mike Knight's going to easily run down James Mullins here, though. And that 6 car is in big trouble. As here comes Mike going to go on the inside. Hollifield's going to storm past as well. Down in the turn 1. Will we see a big checkup here? Will we see another caution? Mullins is fading and fast. Mark Love goes to 4th. As James Mullins drops back to 3rd. He's going to get dumped out of the podium here. As Mark Love goes through. Brian Johnson's going to go through. Boyd Hogan, no doubt, is going to go through. They're 3 wide behind, though. As Jeffrey Smith just got squeezed out in the middle with Eric Kling in the mix. It's a big battle with Kenny Powell in the mix as well. Got Chris Johnson in there. Wayne Grossi is in it as well. And Jeffrey Smith gets tapped by Powell. Slide sideways. Powell is spinning. Caution flag is out again. And Powell's into the outside wall. Second crash he's been involved with tonight. John Mullins says sorry. But I don't think Mullins really did anything wrong there. I mean, you look at the incident, and Powell kind of chopped in across John Mullins' nose. And that was just after Jeffrey Smith got a tap on the backside, right on the left rear bumper from his bumper here. And James Mullins does come down to pit under the caution, and understandably so. But I honestly think This is a call that he's made way too late. And James Mullins has just shot himself in the foot here if he wants to go for a race win. That is just astounding that he stayed out on the last caution when he shouldn't have. Chris Johnson gets the wave around and the lucky dog free pass of the number 48. Mullins exits pit road. He's not going to lose a lap. Kenny Powell's coming down to fix damage. Cecil Keith is coming down as well in the 33 machine. So now we're hoping this race isn't going to turn out to be like Martinsville was. You know, a lot of cautions, just kind of one after the other. Now, granted, this season's Martinsville race was significantly better than the last one. But we're still hoping it doesn't get to be this way. This is our 5th caution now, and the 3rd one in the last 20 laps. So that says a thing or two. I mean, we are in that second half of the race now, so drivers are going to start to get a bit more aggressive with their moves, and I think that's what we saw there. I mean, Kenny Powell was trying to fit into a gap that just wasn't there, and John Mullins gave it the smallest of taps. And Mullins did apologize. I don't think he did anything wrong though in that incident. So Mullins is going to drop to the rear of the field now for coming down to pit. I think we're 2 to green this time around. Might be about 54 laps to go when we go green. So to run down the top 5 now as a result of that, Mike Knight leads for the first time all day. Ron Hollifield is up a whopping 8 positions. The hard charge of the race, he's up to 2nd after starting 10th. Mark Love is up 4 to 3rd. Brian Johnson's up 9 to 4th. So check me on that one. Brian Johnson, the hard charge of the day. Boyd Hogan, meanwhile, has dropped 3 spots to 5th. And he's got about 5-6 lap fresher tires than the guys in front of him. So we'll have to see what he can make out of this one. Lights are out of the pace car once again, and we get set to go racing for the 7th restart now with the race. New driver at the head of the field this time, Mike Knight. What will he do? Will he make a big jump like James Mullins? The field stacks it up, bunches them all up here into the turn. Ron Hollifield trying to get the jump on around the outside. Now Mike Knight goes, and bad jump there for Ron Hollifield, who's going to lose out on 2nd place as well as Mark Love goes up into the 2nd position here. And big stack up in the middle of the field, but so far we are clean and green and no yellow flag just yet. Mark Love still do battle with Hollifield for 2nd, trying to fend him off. Hollifield's going to try the outside still. He doesn't have anywhere else to go. Boyd Hogan's trying to go for the inside here, trying to get his podium back. So all of a sudden, Hollifield's having to play defense here instead of going on offense like he wanted to on the restart, and Hogan's going to put himself back up into 3rd. So he's just at 1 spot down now from where he started. The Hollifield got all sorts of loose off of 4, and he had to make an amazing save, and he does so. James Mullins is trying to work his way up the order. He's already back up to 6th. And check that, he's up in the top 5 once again. James Mullins flying here on the restart to get himself positioned right up to where he needs to be. Up front, 2nd place, just swapped hands as Boyd Hogan goes to 2nd. Mark Love falls to 3rd. And we have 50 remaining on the boards. Oh, trouble! Powell's around again! Turn 3. Kenny Powell just got spun around by Jeffrey Smith. And Smith kind of came down across the track as Powell was trying to come up, but they met in the middle. This was the first crash we've really seen starting in the middle of the back straightaway. Powell got slammed into the outside wall on the back straightaway, slid sideways with the brakes locked up, and then backs it into the wall again in 3. Oh my goodness. So Kenny Powell, his day going from bad to worse. That's the 3rd caution in a row that he's been involved in. I think it's safe to say that Powell's hopes of finishing this race with that car in one piece are all but over. Under 50 laps to go. Let's take another step away. You're watching the 5 Guys 210, your Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway for the IRC Stock Car Association. caution number... This might be 7, this might be 8. Not sure if our producer could give me a bit of a count on that one, and we'll see if we can... That was our 7th one. He's just confirmed it. So thank you very much, Rob, for confirming that this is our 7th caution in the race. 1 lap to green, get us set for our 8th restart now. It's been an interesting one in the past little while. Attrition has really kicked in overdrive, realized that it missed out on the first half of the race, and it's got a lot of work to do to pick up on the carnage count. We'll have to see if it continues to pick on up. 45 laps to go, we go green. Mike Knight currently in first. Boyd Hogan might try to get the drop on him, though, around the outside in the turn 1. We'll have to see what he can do here. Mike Knight's slowing up a bit, goes back green, and for the first time, Boyd Hogan's actually going to get ahead before the start-finish line. Is that penalty from passing before the line? We'll have to see what happens with the Boyd Hogan here, who's clear around the outside off of turn 2, and Hogan is gone. He's checked out of the field. Your current championship leader won the ghetto race win here today, and meanwhile, Mike Knight really being squeezed in by Christopher Hill. James Mullins is up to 4th and continuing to try to work his way through the order, trying to pick up 3rd now. Gonna go maybe 3 wide, not quite. Hill gets boxed in and is forced to yield. So Mullins, the fastest car on the inside, gives him a bit of a door shot up the track in 3. But Silver hangs on, not quite. Actually, Mullins gets loose and has to check. Oh, and he dumps him for 3rd. Hill hard to the outside wall. Caution flags out for the 8th time of the race. The field checks up. We're under yellow flags again. This is come on, guys. Now, this is starting to get a little bit silly here. And as much as I hate to say it, Mullins was squeezing him in, but Christopher Hill definitely pretty much brake checked him going into turn 1. That was a dump, though, for 3rd. And I can tell you what, if Christopher Hill can get going again, he is not going to be a happy camper at all. Cecil Keith actually has damage, too, after making contact with Chris Johnson, who's just trying to check up for the wreck. Kenny Powell is coming by on the outside line. Now, Powell's had an interesting race. He's been wrecked about 3 or 4 times now over the course of this race. And some of them more controversial than not. The most blatant one that we almost have without a shadow of doubt is going to get penalized was one with Mike Ames where he just got left rear hooked off of turn 4. The one on the backstretch might be looked at again after the race because it's a tough one to call. Christopher Hill's down in the lane. Brian Johnson's also down there. Chris Johnson is down as well. Chris Johnson is getting on fresh tires, so he's on tires now that are about 30 laps fresher than the oldest tires of the field. 17 laps fresher than anybody else. Unless you really count Kenny Powell, but he has the lucky dog, so do what you will with that information. 40 to go in the 210 a lap race. The attrition's kicked in big time. Chances are we probably would already be finished this race already if it weren't for the last 4 or 5 cautions. I'll tell you what, though, for Boyd Hogan, who's now leads, this is an absolutely storybook way to end off his season here. We still have 1 race to go, but if Hogan wins here, he will 100% lock out the championship. And right now, he's really the only driver that can really do anything. Unless Mullins has something for him, Hogan's got this race all wrapped up. But Mullins, he really is the big question mark. His tires are about 8 laps fresher than Hogan still. 18 coming to 19 and 27 laps old respectively. But Mullins has led the most laps so far in the race. Boyd Hogan, he won't be able to lead the most laps in the race, I don't think. So we might have ourselves in for a very fiery finish here if this goes the way I think it might. Short track racing is a course where bumper runs are very common. We've seen them already a couple races or a couple cautions ago. Sometimes they've worked, sometimes they haven't. So the real question now will be, how did the last 40 laps play out? I mean, the first 140 or so were great. After that, though, it's been a Martinsville. Let's just put it that way. It's been a Martinsville. Haven't really been able to make a properly 10-lap run yet under green for the last 30, 40 laps or so. Lights are out of the pace car again. 37 laps to go when we take the green. Rounding lap 173 right now of 210. If you're just joining us, welcome to the ISCA Stock Car Association to our penultimate round. I'm Nolan Rempel. with Rob Melnick behind the cameras for the broadcast today. Al Kozlowski was due to join us. Unfortunately, technical difficulties have prevented this. So, well, we just hope that these will be resolved for Richmond in 2 weeks' time. Pace car pulls off. Boyd Hogan, he got a great jump last time around. Actually cleared Mike Knight around the outside. We'll see if he can get the jump today, or at least on this restart. He does, and he leaves the field in the dust behind them. We're back green again. And we might be on a caution again. Never mind, not quite. Oh, yes, we might be. Jeffrey Smith spinning in the background. Hard to the outside wall. Contact with Christopher Hill. And no caution. We are still green. There were 3 wide. There was a dive bomb from Hill up the inside that did not go his way. Look back up, though, to the battle as Mike Knight is struggling to hang on to spots as Eric Kling is trying to find his way by around the inside now. Kling going to dive up the inside of Mike Knight. Here comes John Mullins in the 64 machine. Mullins has had a very up and down day so far as well. He came from being about 2 laps down to being on the lead lap and now in the 8th position and fighting it out. And it looks like Jeffrey Smith might have had more trouble. He's still slow on the inside line. So Jeffrey Smith actually, Jeffrey Smith didn't know this, but he actually lost the back end in turn 1 all on his own and wrecked again. Still no caution. That was about a lap ago. John Mullins and Mike Eames duking it out for 7th and 8th. Eames trying to fight the outside. Mullins trying to fight the inside. Here comes Brian Johnson trying to work 3-1 at the inside. Don't try that one, Brian. Not the wisest move. Battle for the lead. It's on. James Mullins having to go at Boyd Hogan into turn 1. They're side by side. So the battle's on all over the place right now. Mullins trying to deny Boyd Hogan's storybook ending here. It would be really, this would absolutely be a fantastic story for Hogan here. If he can win the race in the same race that he clinches the championship on. James Mullins trying to deny him his storybook ending here. And Mullins goes through on the inside. His tires are 8 laps fresher, keep in mind. But they're both at the point where wear will start to kick in. Hogan is really pinched him down there, though, and trying to fight the outside line. Hogan will not give this one without a fight. And you can bet he is going to fight back with all his might once Mullins gets clear. If he gets clear, that is. Already, this is the longest green flag run we've seen in some time here in this race at Nashville. And Hogan still trying to hang on. Can't get there, though. Mullins covers the inside line from Hogan, who can't make the crossover into 1. Now he's going to try, though, into turn 3 as Hogan once more at the inside, trying to secure himself that ending that he wants so desperately. Mullins holding the outside. Hogan on the inside. We've seen both lines kind of go back and forth throughout the day, and these two drivers, they are so evenly matched here. Mark Love from 3rd place has just crashed out of 3rd. Mark Love blew the motor. Mark Love is out. He's out on the apron on the back straightaway. He is done. And he has parked the car. So Mark Love, disaster for him as his motor blows up. He was up in the podium positions for a good portion of the race today. Meanwhile, Mullins has successfully fended off Hogan for 1st. I'll keep one out of this one, but let's move back to an actual side-by-side battle for 3rd. Brian Johnson and Ron Hollifield duking it out. Just behind them, contact's been made between Chris Johnson and Eric Kling. That sends Johnson up, and Hollifield is trying to get around him. This is just absolutely pandemonium here as we're under 30 laps to go now. Definitely well within the final quarter of the race. Johnson up the inside of Hollifield now, trying to go for the 4th position. Johnson gets clear into 3 and takes the spot with no further difficulties. Caution flag is out as in turn 4. A big hit for Christopher Hill, and this was all by himself. Just lost it under braking, slid up, slammed the outside wall. No other drivers were involved. And this has the potential to be game changer. Now what do? If you're on 42 lap old tires, do you come down if you have the tires to spare? There's only 25 laps to go. So this is going to be very interesting. Mullins and Hogan both come down to pits. Brian Johnson stays out. So does Chris Johnson. Hollifield's in. John Mullins stays out. Cecil Keith stays out. Of course, these are drivers that are laps down, so they would have to wait again before they could come on down. Mike Knight, meanwhile, is in. Eric Kling is in. So most of the lead lap grouping is in. While we wait for this pit window cycle, let's take one last break for the day, and then we'll be live right to the end here from Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Brian Johnson, Chris Johnson, and John Mullins. All three drivers that stayed out while everyone else behind them pitted. James Mullins and your current championship leader, Boyd Hogan, are fresh tires behind, and they were having one heck of a scrap. Be ready for another yellow flag here, folks. The flag for the Banana Republic might just come back and visit us one more time here in this one to get these guys in front of them clear. Brian Johnson, for the first time leading all race long. We'll see what he can make on the restart. He's off and away. Great jump there from Chris Johnson as well. James Mullins already dives to the inside for turn number one, trying to get the second. Hogan's up to fourth. And already the field's getting swamped. These guys with the older tires here behind. Hogan's going to go through and try to pick up third. He's going to get it. James Mullins going for the race lead around Brian Johnson. This is no question. Mullins will take it this time round. Oh, look at behind. Johnson spinning. Gets tapped by Eric Kling. Somehow saves it in 3 and 4. But Eric Kling hard the inside wall back into the field. Caution flag is out. It's the big one on the back straightaway. And hard hits from Mike Eames, Eric Kling, and Mike Knight. All three cars destroyed as they got all sorts of tangled up. This all started when Eric Kling tapped Chris Johnson going into turn number one, sending the 48 wide. That caused 52 to get a little bit unsettled, and when he got on the power off of turn two, slid sideways, slammed the inside wall, went back up into traffic, and right into the path of Mike Eames, who slammed the outside wall. Kling almost flipped over as Mike Knight got involved. We need to take a look from the rear camera. I want to take a look from the onboard camera from the rear bumper, if we can, looking backwards on Chris Johnson, and you'll see just how quick that door closed. If he had waited, if he was about maybe 2 feet behind, he would have gotten absolutely slammed by this mess. But that means Boyd Hogan and James Mullins are in the lead. Kenny Powell takes another lap back. We're under 20 to go. We saw this one coming from a mile off. There was no question something like that was going to happen. You got 3 guys on old tires by about 30 laps running in front of you. What do you think is going to happen when you got a whole field of fresh tire guys behind you with less than 20 to go? Kling has to come down to the pits to get damage fixed. Mike Knight's got severe front end damage. Just now, by the way, Clifton Cockrell, one of the first drivers out of the race, just officially brought his car behind the wall. It's just kind of sitting in the pit stall, and just now it's finally gone away. My goodness, that was a disaster. Hard wrecks. Definitely the hardest wreck we've seen all race. 3 cars just absolutely demolished. Those are the kind of things you'd see at an Enduro Championship race. Boyd Hogan still has the door open for a storybook ending here, clinching the championship with just 1 race remaining. And by winning the race at that. But James Mullins might have something to say about that. And Mullins has been a very, very good driver to watch all race long. When the two of them were battling just about 10, 15 laps ago, that was some of the best races we had seen all race. And I just hope that we can see racing like that all the way through to the checkered flag. I'll turn meteorologist for a quick minute here and give you guys a weather update. Track temp has fallen 2 degrees. Since the start of the race, it's down to 79 degrees Fahrenheit, still 70 in the air. Winds are still blowing north at 5 miles an hour. 45% of humidity in the air. Time is now 2:52 and 20 seconds exactly local time in the simulator on October the 29th. Stacked up, doubled up, ready to go. 12 laps remaining. A dozen more trips around this beautiful, beautiful short track. James Mullins versus Boyd Hogan. Ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your hats. This is about to get wild. Hogan's already trying to get the drop on him, but James Mullins backs him up and is off and away. Green flag drops, and we are out of here. Brian Johnson right now, the only driver left on really old tires and getting slumped by the field. He's already down to 5th. And that number 4 machine, so he is going to get absolutely creamed here on this restart. Nothing he can really do about this one. Battle for 3rd, just swap hands as Hollifield with damage just lost out to Christopher Hill. That puts him back up into the podium positions. Hill was wrecked twice this race and all within the last 50 laps, so good on him to get back into the podium so darn quickly. Less exactly 10 laps to go this time by. And Mullins has lost ground to Hogan. Hogan is right there. Oh, Hogan gets loose, though. That caused him to lose out a lot of time. Hogan's got his work cut out for him now. Now, the question is, will we see a bump and run? We'll have to wait for Hogan to see if he can get close enough. Powell, close to John Mullins behind, almost taking him out. John Mullins yields to Kenny Powell and gives him the spot. That was the battle for the 11th position, I believe, that just traded hands. Actually, it might have been for 12th. And in fact, it was for 11th. Up front, Cecil Keith is fighting with Eric Kling for 7th. Kling's trying to go around the outside as well of Mike Eames. Eames is trying to get around Johnson, who's still on old tires. Don't go 3 wide at the corner. Oh! Johnson gets a shot to the back end from Eric Kling. Kling trying to go around the inside is going to get the over-under. I'm sorry. While Brian Johnson might not be happy with that, I'm sorry, but that's what you get when you're on 30-lap old tires and the rest of the field is storming up behind you. Chris Johnson's finding out the same lesson the hard way as Kenny Powell's diving his way through, as is Mike Knight. Up front with 5 to go. The battle is closed again. James Mullins is on the back end of, Boyd Hogan's on the back end of James Mullins now. The gap just 0.3 of a second and closing. It's all or nothing. Hogan's got nothing to lose. At this point, he'll be the champion either way, whether he gets it or not. Hogan runs it deep into the corner. That loses him a good 1/4 of a second there. He's got a lot of work to do in just 3 laps. Christopher Hill trying to find his way up and maybe take 2nd position away from Hogan and ruined a storybook ending. Already, James Mullins is making sure of this one. 3 to go. It's been a long one, but boy, has it been an exciting one. Boyd Hogan getting set to run this one out to the end. 2 laps remaining. The popsicle sticks in the air. For James Mullins, this race has pretty much gone exactly his way. Some questionable pit calls have gotten him up, and Eric Kling sideways on the front straightaway. No caution, we're still green. Kling took a slide all on his own on the back stretch, on the front stretch, but he's still green. White flag in the air. The race is official. One more trip around. James Mullins getting set to take victory. They're wrecking in 4. Kling sideways again. That's the contact with Jeffrey Smith. We'll look at that later. For James Mullins, he's off at turn 4 to take victory. But for Boyd Hogan, it's an even more special ending. He's your 2020 Season 4 champion. And they wreck after the line. Christopher Hale in 3rd place takes himself out as Boyd Hogan takes the championship with just 1 race remaining. For Boyd Hogan, this has been an absolutely spectacular race. Finished where he started in 2nd place, can't get the win. But Boyd Hogan, a new champion. What an absolutely barnstormer of a race, and what a way to end it off. 1 more race to go at Richmond in 2 weeks. For now, though, let's take a look at your post-race results. James Mullins takes victory. Boyd Hogan, your new champion, unofficial as yet, but as we know it, crowned as of right now in 2nd place. Christopher Hale in 3rd. Ron Hollifield finishes off in 4th. Mike Haynes, the hard charger, going to finish it off with an impressive top 5 finish after starting 15th. Cecil Keith, check that he's the hard charger, 6th place, just a little ways off. Kenny Powell in 7th. Brian Johnson 8th. Chris Johnson and Mike Nye round out the top 10. John Mullins in 11th. Eric Kling 12th. Wayne Grossi 13th. Jeffrey Smith in 14th. Drivers that did not finish the race were Mark Love in 15th. Then it's Craig Johnson, 10-11, Clifton Cockrell to round out the other guys that did not finish the race. Burn it down, Boyd Hogan. You, my man, have absolutely earned it. What an absolutely amazing season for him. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be back with the post-race show right after this. Welcome back to Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway for the post-race show, and boy, oh boy, this has just been one thrilling race, and a new champion has been crowned today as well. Al Kozlowski has joined me in the booth for the interviews. Did manage to get in for that one and join us down in Victory Lane and on the podium for this one. Let's start it off though. I've not heard from Christopher Hill yet, so we'll wait to hear from him. Let's start things off with James Mullins. We'll save the best for last. James. My goodness me, well, I say this, but we'll start off with James Mullins, the race winner. We'll get to the champion in a little bit. But James, a very impressive race for you. Led, I believe, the most laps in the race. Definitely, I think, a result that you can be proud of today.
Yeah, for sure. I started the week, I didn't think I was going to like the track, but the more I raced on it, the more I liked it. And it just, I don't know, I guess it fit to my type of style of racing. I'm usually not too good at like a flat track, but it's got a little bit of banking. I just don't.
Al, you got anything?
James, you could have fooled me. It looked like that was a dominating car you had there. Between you and Boyd Hogan, I don't think anybody stood a chance. You guys put a phenomenal show. You had a lot of green flag and then caution after caution after caution after caution. What was going through your mind seeing those cautions come out? Did you think Boyd had anything for you on restarts?
Oh, definitely. Boyd, you guys forgot about Chris. He was running really well, and I think I had a pretty good lead when we had that green flag run, about 100 laps or whatever it was. But it wasn't like he was way off. I feel like if they wasn't a lot of traffic between us, him and Boyd both could have ran with me. Those are two really good drivers, and they got a really good team over there. So a lot of respect to them boys over there. They definitely, especially short run, Boyd and them was so fast short run.
Speaking of lap traffic, what were you thinking coming around that lap traffic after seeing all the drivers getting loose? You thinking that somebody was going to take you out at any time, or?
Yeah, everybody was pretty respectful. You know, I mean, people trying to. There was a couple, you know, that would try to fight me off a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. Like on edge, going around any of them.
Well, it's our first time at the Nashville Fairgrounds here. Give me your thoughts on this track?
Well, like I said, the first of the week, I didn't think I was going to like it, and but I don't know. It's like it just fits my driving style, I guess. Easy in, easy off, and just be easy on the tires. That's my type of track. Just smooth.
Well, you definitely can't cram that gas pedal down coming off, or you'll end up like we've seen a lot of drivers going around and possibly taking out other drivers. Well, congratulations, James, on your win here at the Nashville Fairgrounds. Do you have any sponsors you want to thank?
Yeah, I want to thank everybody over at Nexus. It's a good group of guys over there, and everybody at pay-to-win-setups.com. It's a really good place to buy your setups if you're interested. I'm not trying to push it over on anybody, but it's a really good place to start. And just the pay-to-win A-car team I got that runs the official series. I want to thank all of them and Andrew Skelnick for helping me out this week.
Well, I myself, and I'm sure other drivers out there, are always looking for a good setup. So what was that website one more time, buddy? Is it pay or paid?
Pay-to-win-setups.com.
10-4. We appreciate it, James, and congratulations on your win at the Nashville Fairgrounds.
Thank you. Congratulations, Boyd, on the championship, man.
Thanks, sir.
We're gonna move things right on down. We'll check it. Like again, we'll save Mr. Hogan, your new champion, for last. We're gonna move things down to Christopher Hill, that joins us from third place in the booth. Chris, it was a very up and down day for you. You had a couple of incidents around the halfway point, but you managed to fight back and finish third. How are you feeling?
All in all, it was what I expected. I honestly didn't practice before the race, so I was trying to survive. Started in the back, drove up to about where we should have been, just in the top three, and then the race just kind of, people couldn't get out of their own way from there. But I mean, all in all, it was all right.
You think if people would have calmed it down a little bit and been patient, there would have been a lot more clean racing, Chris?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's just the way you got to play the tire cycles late in these races. Everybody gets over their head, and all these races, you can have a great first half of the race, and the second half, it's just who spins the lottery next. I mean, the car was great. We had great short run. I felt the most confident after 30-40 laps. I felt like long run I was pretty decent, but James had a good piece tonight and put together a good race, and all the boys over at Legacy did a heck of a job building a good car too.
So you must have a setup that's adaptable to both short run and long run then, right, Chris?
Yeah. All the boys at Legacy did a great job on this car this week. Great shout out to Reaper Speed Labs, all the boys over at Legacy for all the hard work. Boyd did a hell of a job again.
All right, brother. You got any sponsors you want to thank? I think we covered a couple of them. Boyd over at the Reaper Speed Labs there.com. He's got some setups. So you got anybody else you want to thank?
Everybody over at Legacy who had part in building the car. They did a badass job this week. Can't thank them enough.
We hear a lot about Legacy. Is there any kind of a website our viewers can go and maybe join and watch some of Legacy's races?
I will revert that question to Boyd.
10-4. I appreciate it, Chris. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Saving the best for last year. Moving on to your, as of this moment, unconfirmed, but we believe season 2020 Season 4 champion, Boyd Hogan. Boyd didn't quite get the storybook win you were hoping for, but definitely a very good day for you and the rest of your team. Nonetheless, walk us through the race.
I mean, the first run and a bit, I was way off. Did a bad job of driving it. Obviously, the car was there. I mean, Chris stormed through the field like it was nothing and was matching times, if not quicker than James. So I knew the car was there. It was just I was too aggressive on the old gas pedal early on and cooked the right rear. And by the time I got it to come back and kind of cool off a little bit, then it was the lead was almost insurmountable. So the caution helped a bunch for sure. And we finally got the chance to show how much speed we actually had, and it turned out to be quite a bit. All in all, though, James ran a hell of a race. I got a lot of respect for him. Obviously, I put him in the fence at Kansas, so I didn't really want to do it at here at Nashville, especially in the point situation we got. But at the end of the day, it was a good run for us. Can't really hang your head about it. Got a championship, got another top 5, and go on to the next one.
Watching this race, Boyd, it appears to me like this is a very difficult track to pass at, and that's why I'm going to give credit to a lot of these guys. When they got frustrated, they'd rather punt somebody and try to pass them. Is that true?
I mean, I'll never shy away from punting somebody, but no. For me, no. It's just you end up getting in your own head, and I mean, for the most part, everybody on my team, myself included, we show up with the mentality of anything besides a win is a disappointment. So obviously, you're getting passed no matter what position it's for, and just kind of off on pace. It sucks. Like you'd rather be doing about anything else other than that. But yeah, I think it's mentality's got a lot to do with it. Luckily, I mean, I had Chris and Channing and a few guys in Discord just keeping our heads in it, and we came away with the result that we needed.
Well, and you've also, I think you, according to Nolan, you have secured the championships for this season. That means you can actually sleep through your Thanksgiving turkey and even a week after that.
Well, being Canadian, man, it ain't Thanksgiving, so I'm kind of sad we're not going to Chicago next week. I know we got a really, really good car there. If you want to try it for yourself, reaperspeedlab.com. I'll be posting it here probably Friday night-ish. Got some more stuff to clean up on it, and it'll be ready to go. But yeah, on to Richmond. That should be fun. Want to close out the win with season with a win for sure.
Well, I asked this before about Legacy. We keep hearing about this Legacy. Is there any kind of a website or anything our viewers can go check out Legacy?
I mean, check it out on Facebook, man. It's just the team. We got all kinds of stuff going on right now. I know Trayton Lapsevich is running the fall brawl as we speak, as well as a couple other guys. Parker Retzlaff, I think Alex McCollum as well. We got a few guys over there. So it's we're all over the place, man. We're just trying to win everything we can and in everything we can. I mean, I've been racing road all week, just trying to get used to that. But that's been a adventure. So.
All right, and we already heard about this Reaper Speed Lab, and you can also find them on Facebook. It is REAPER Speed Lab, just in case we have some illiterate individuals out there watching that can't spell.
Yes, sir. Reaper Speed Lab. We just opened up shop here. I want to say 3 weeks ago. Business has been awesome. Been putting together a lot of custom setups for customers, just doing leagues like this at different tracks. Maybe we don't have an official set for. I know Chris did a killer job on the B car this week. That's been winning a lot of races. Randall Falks with the C Open stuff. Trayton does a great job on the short track side of things. I know we had a couple guys going to modified races with no practice and go win. So, it's kind of what you can expect on these cars for sure. Also want to thank everybody on Legacy, as mentioned. Bobby Earnhardt himself. My grandma and grandpa I know are watching. And like I said, everybody on Legacy, everybody that pitches in. Judd at Abruzzi. Splash and Go Graphics. Got to thank Cosman for the paint. Glad we could secure the championship.
Well, congratulations, Boyd, hogging all the wins. Hogan, for being this series champion. I'd say give a shout out to Grandma and Grandpa. Said thanks. You raised a good driver here. We appreciate watching you week after week, Boyd, and look forward to seeing you again next season.
Thanks, Al. Means a lot, man. See you at Richmond.
That will do it then for driver interviews in the penultimate race here at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Only one more race to go at Richmond International Raceway. 200 lapper. Don't forget, though, we do have a break for Thanksgiving next week. So everybody, happy Thanksgiving while we're here. And well, that I believe is all the time we're really going to have for today. It's been a long race, but it certainly has been a very exciting one at that. I've been Olin Rempo, bringing you coverage from this race from start to finish. Rob Melnick doing a fantastic job on the cameras as always, and a special thanks to Al Kozlowski for coming by and joining me in Victory Lane to give us talk to some of the drivers, the race winner, third place, second place, a.k.a. your new champion of the 2020 Season 4 season of the IRC Stock Car Association Cup Series. For myself and the other gang here at the ISCA, we thank you for joining us again. Happy Thanksgiving, and have a good night.